right now, part 3. So, to talk about the people. Oh my goodness, to talk about the people. I don't want to start and people feeling like I'm not going to include them because I'm going to forget a lot of stuff. I mentioned Sylvain with the soldering iron, Jeff with his support always for me. Thanks, Jeff. Tracy, his girlfriend, who was just a joy to be around all weekend. My wife, who is, but I mentioned that and gushed about that. So, Natalia, you're fantastic. You keep doing what you're doing. Absolutely, you just keep on doing what you're doing. I want to see what you're going to build next time. Jacob's was fantastic, and then yours is going to be as fantastic, and it's going to blow the socks off my feet. It was a pleasure to talk to you again. So there was Gabriel. So let's just talk about some of my friends here on this channel. So Paul showed up. Paul was good to see. And we sat together for a little bit and got to talk and catch up. He was here with me doing the big sort, and so it's always for me. I'm so busy at a show and I got a million thoughts in my head that I have a tough time focusing, and I like living in the moment because I'm always thinking about the next thing that I have to get done. But having Paul sit with me, Paul, I really appreciated that. Gabriel, it's great talking to you. It was wonderful to catch up again. Deborah showed up. I haven't seen her in a while because she's been in Paris. So Deborah and Mark were there. That was wonderful. Jeff, my good friend Jeff, and I love the beard, showed up for a minute or two just to say hi. He's one of my very good and dear friends going way back in the Parliament days that I never got to do a show with yet. Jen, I got it open. I bought this off the Brick Chick. Yay! Brick Chick. BrickChick.com. I've known Jen for a long time. I appreciate Jen. She is a good and dear friend. So I got to spend some time with her, which is good. Graham showed up for Friday, just kind of a flyby because he's so busy with his life and he's got a show to get ready for November, and then he had to be somewhere else. So seeing Graham here and having a quick catch up with him, wonderful. And the same with Nick. I am living vicariously through Nick right now. So Nick, you keep on doing what you're doing. I've known Nick for many years now. When he first started out, one of our first shows in BrickFet. And it's just a joy to see what's going on in his life right now. So that's fantastic. Sean, it's just a person that is enthusiasm for this hobby of ours is contagious. And people's names I'm going to forget because I'm not good with names. I've never been good with names. It takes me 2 or 3 shows before I get the names right. It's just a problem with my head, 100% problem with my head. But well, as people I do still know, Dave St. Cyr, I can't stop talking about how much I just love being with him, doing shows. His enthusiasm is contagious, and we both love classic space. And he did bring a mock for the layout. Thank you, Dave. I've always said this: if you bring a space mock that's to scale and appropriate for the layout, I'll leave it in the layout all weekend. So he did, and Dave also brought parts that I needed because I didn't want another disaster in 2025. To go off in a really quick tangent. So the landing pads are on the tower. They are 8 studs out farther. Each one's 8 studs out farther than they were before. And of course I have those little struts that are holding the landing pads so they don't droop. When they were close to the tower, I didn't have this problem. Now that they're farther up from the tower, of course, the farther out, the more the center of gravity goes out, the more pressure is on the supporting structure, shall we say. And I noticed halfway through Saturday that the axles at the bottom where they join into the main tower structure were starting to bend. Yes, they were bending, not a lot, but it was noticeable. I would say 1 to 2 centimeters bent from straight through. And I'm going, that can't be good. That can't be good. No, they did hold for the entire show, and I'm not sure I'm going to fix this. But I did ask Dave if he could go home and make me these little connector pins that hold the landing pads to the Technic infrastructure that I have in that beam, because I only needed one before per landing pad because there was only one connection to hold the landing pad to the tower. But now that I put that little 8-stud gizmo out there, I need 4 for each section to hold it together. And I didn't have enough for 4 for each one, so that means I need 16 of them. So I had asked Dave to whip me up 3 more, because that's what I was short. And he came back the next day, not only with the landing, not only with the spaceship to put on my landing pad, but these connectors, brackets to hold my tower together, so there wouldn't be a disaster again. Thanks, Dave. So again, thanks for saving the tower, because we already had one major disaster. I have to think about how I'm going to fix the geometry. The geometry is not perfect, and I think that's what's causing the bend. But they are farther out. I'll worry about that later. But Dave was utterly fantastic, and there's Jeff and Tracy. The organizers, which I cannot stop gushing about. Etienne, every single thing we needed was taken care of. We asked for sanctions, he got sanctions. We asked for this. I mean, we weren't divas. We weren't asking for a lot. But even the dinner on Saturday, was it Friday or Saturday? I think it was Saturday, supplied by Brickomanie. Wonderful over at the sports bar. I got a nice burger there. But Etienne was fun. He was jovial. He always had a good, quick joke. He has a wonderful sense of humor. He kept the stress of the show from exuding into the show. Because again, it's a completely smaller scale context, but I used to run our area for the Toy Train and Doll Show and for the Hobby Show. And I have this laissez-faire kind of thing going on. But internally, it was always stressful, like how many people are going to show up, what are we going to do, what are we going to put here, what are we going to put there, and that was just a small little 40 by 40 area, not an entire ballroom, not the entire booking it and logistics and tables and tablecloths and the events and blah blah, schedules, websites. Like there's a litany of stuff that I don't even know about, that I have no consideration of or appreciation of. But the whole back end of running a show is, it's like the iceberg, except it's not just 1 to 10. Like, you know, the iceberg, 1% is above the water, or 10% is 90% above. It's like 99 to 1. The stuff that the public and the exhibitors do not see to get a show off the ground and running as smoothly as it did at Brickomanie. And again, I've been to other shows, and every one of them has been run fantastically well. Brickfet was wonderful. There was, from an exhibitor point of view, there has never been any hiccups for any of my shows that I've been to. None. But I understand the logistics behind to make it look like there's no problems for me to display my stuff in the public. So again, Etienne, I don't know the specifics, but I know there was a lot of stuff that you needed to get done to get this done. And you made it look easy, and you made it look fun, and you made it look like there was no stress involved. You hid that stress from us completely and totally. And I appreciate that. I appreciate not feeling stressed, because when the organizers are stressed, everybody's stressed. Or the organizer like exudes stressness, the rest of us get stressed. And it was very comfortable. It was very casual. I had a great time. There was no schedules. I didn't have to be here. I didn't have to be there. I loved it. And it was just like all the other shows I've done, where I just felt welcome to do what I wanted to do. And I got to do what I wanted to do. So thank you, Etienne. Thank you, Eric, for being, putting up with me the entire weekend. Every time I pass Eric, I bug him a little bit. Fantastic. Anybody who puts up with me, like my wife has done for all these years, deserves a medal. Because I'll just walk into a joint and not really, whatever. I'll throw it against the wall, see what sticks. I have toned that down a lot, by the way. But I do say, and I do mean it sincerely, I am here for the organizers, because I want a good show. I want them to have a good show. I want them to feel happy and proud about their show. So I'm willing to do what it takes for them to have a good show. And right now, all the organizers, every organizer I've ever worked with has said, Dave, show up and display your layout. I can do that. But I do like to have some fun. I like talking to people. I like walking around and kind of like, hey, Dave's here. It's like Norm from Cheers. Dave's here. And that happened once at the show. I walked in the middle of a group. Dave's here. It's like, yay, Dave. I like that. It's my little thing. But I also don't want to step on toes. I don't want to be a burden. I do not want to be a person that somebody says, oh, here comes Dave again. Like, I don't want to be that person. I always want to be like a joy to people, and I also want to be specifically not a burden to organizers ever. And so I always say to when I sign up for something or I'm going to be at something, whatever you need that you think I can do, I'm going to do for you, because you're doing me a favor by letting me put the layout here, because I don't get to see it at home, first of all. So there's that. I get to hang around fellow like-minded Lego enthusiasts, fantastically awesome enthusiasts. I want to do that. I come up, I mentioned this before and haven't mentioned it yet. After every single show I've ever done, I have such a high at the end of the show that lasts for weeks, like literally weeks. Now this one was a little different because I had the disaster. So that kind of set me onto this little, I'm in like defense mode, I guess, would say. So I'm always thinking, oh, this, and so, but the organizers here, the organization here made me feel welcome at home and wanted every time they walked past. How are you? They give me a hug, shake my hand, whatever. Put their hand around me and say, hey, how's it going, Dave? Whatever. Eric, Etienne, the other guys there, which I don't know, Etienne's mom, fantastic. She is wonderful to talk to. The lady at the front desk, and I didn't get her name. She's kind of wheelchair bound, but I love talking to her. Absolutely, every time I walk past, I make sure she was okay, because she's doing like all these people that have to deal with the public, and I bought it online, I don't have that, whatever it is. I know there's always going to be issues. I've done this before myself on a much smaller scale, so this is writ large, that there's always going to be issues dealing with public, dealing with this, dealing with that, and people are there's always going to be whiners or complainers. Oh, you put me in the wrong spot. I don't get the right light. Whatever it is, I'd never cared. Like when we were at Brickomanie 2023 and they put me under the lights that couldn't turn off, I didn't care. I didn't care. It didn't bother to me because I got to see the layout. I don't have to worry about the lights out portion. I seen the layout with the lights out before. So that didn't happen. And to be said, the Fabuland layout back in 2023 deserved to win lights out because it was magnifique. I loved Fabuland, by the way. So like, I will do whatever the organizers need to happen in order for them to have a good show. I have a good show just by being in the room, just by being there. When Callum put me outside the main ballroom last year at Bricks in the Six, I didn't care. Oh, but Dave, you don't get to do the lights out. Matters not to me. I've seen this thing without lights before, with the lights off. I did it in my driveway. So I wanted to be there for the organizers, and if they think the space and appropriate to get people to come in, the first thing to see is Jeff's Castle and my space layout and the big mosaic, the big stuff on the outside, because it's better for them, for the workflow. 100%. Put me where you want me. There was, not to go off in this tangent, there was one proviso to that for an organization that I did not respect as much years ago when I was doing a collector con, and I was excited to do it because I did it twice with the collector con. But I understand collector cons have to make money. Their whole operation is to make money, and I understand that floor space is money to them. So anytime they have to dedicate floor space to somebody who's not actually making them money, because again, I'm an exhibitor, so I'm not paying them to exhibit, so they're losing money on my floor space. The first time they put me right next to the entrance, it was fantastic. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's great. So, the second time they put me right in front of the glass. It's the same building that we do the Bricks in the Six at. They put right in front of the glass window in the hallway. So you got the sun behind it and trans yellow looks magnificent. Oh, Dave, worry about fading? Don't care. You put the sun behind me and the transient yellow just pops. So I love that. The third time I wanted to do, hey, can I come back? Sure, Dave. We'll go, the first conversation, we'll get back to you. 3 weeks goes by, nobody got back to me. I called again a couple weeks before the show. Yeah, I got you in the back corner in the basement. Yeah, no. That's where I drew my line. I just got the whole feeling that he wasn't making money off of me, so he didn't really care. And so he's gonna stuff me in the back corner and whatever. So I wasn't interested. So I stopped that. But again, I didn't know who that. Oh, I sort of knew him. He was a nice guy. I'm gonna say I don't have any animosity towards him. The CollectorCon that I was going to for a few times. But if he wants to relegate me to the back corner, I'm not interested. Now, if Callum at the show wants to relegate me to the back corner, I will jump at the chance because I still get to be at the show. The layout can be in the back corner. And again, to be said, if I'm in the back corner for Callum, it's probably even better for the layout because I mentioned this a few times. One of my favorite experiences literally ever. And Callum was there, by the way, this weekend, and I'm going to talk about him in a sec. Callum had put me, I think it was my first Bricks in a 6, put me at one end of the display floor, like way at the exit, basically, and the entrance was way over there on the other side. And I had a friend text me before the show. He says, "You're going to be there?" I said, "Absolutely, I'm going to be there, and I'll have the layout there." And I and again, this is the serendipitous, like Sandy thinking the tower's going to fall over and it falls over. I knew my friend was going to be there. I didn't know what time he was going to be there. So the doors open up, and people start flowing through, and they're way on the other side. And then, of course, when you go to there are certain people that they're just there to browse, and that's perfect. That's exactly what it's for. And they come in, they start right at the beginning, they start browsing, and they just kind of work their way through the floor. There's other people there that, I want to go over, I know the GBC's over there, so they make a beeline to the GBC or to the train layout or to whatever. They know what they want to see, and they go straight there. So as soon as they get through the door, they're there. And I'm just standing there by my layout. I'm on the opposite side of the entrance. And I see this guy walk to the door, and he's just like got his head on his swivel, and he immediately sees a tower. And I knew that was him. I'd never met him before in real life, just online. We're texting back and forth, and he's boom right over. And I said, "Oh, this is the best thing ever," because my tower can be seen across the floor. Even at and this brings it back to Brickomanie, even at Brickomanie, I was basically close to the back wall. Jeff's castle was at the back, but I was just right next to Jeff's castle. And so the entrance is way over there. And you step in the entrance, and if you gaze across the room, there's the big, huge mobile right over there, which is beautiful, by the way. The mobile was a good feature for people to run to because you can see it across the floor. But the layout, and again, the layout was lit this time. Even when the lights are on, you can see the lights from across the room. And so people made a beeline to the layout. And I also wanted to mention again, Etienne and Eric, the convention floor at Brickomanie this year. It was a big convention room for the Sheraton Hotel. Nice carpet, so it wasn't concrete or wood, so a little easier on my back, but still I had to sit down sometimes. But convention room floors often have on the floor itself pop-up floor panels where there's plugs underneath. This is a first for me. I started setting up the layout, and I was just getting the boxes and the railings and the 2x4s, and I got to the point where I was putting the wood with the lining with the base plates, the crater plates on top, and I had an extension cord running to the back wall. And Eric comes over and he goes, "Dave," and I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "There's a plug right underneath your layout. That's why we put you here." I go, "What?" "Yeah, that little duct tape thing." With duct tape, that little duct tape thing you pop up it's a floor panel, and underneath is a plug. I'm going, "You're kidding me." No. He says, "We put you here on purpose because we wanted your layout to have access to, this is the first time, by the way, we wanted your layout to have access to all four sides. We've seen your, and this is why I loved what these organized, the people that they knew, and they actually put, Callum puts huge thought into this stuff, and he listens to me because I say whatever. But what these guys said is they looked at the layout that they've seen before many times, not only at Brickomanie 2 years ago, but in other spots. And they said, Dave's layout would be perfect if people could see the whole thing all the way around. So this is Eric. He says, we're going to put Dave right here on top of this plug. And then we're not going to have anything around him. There's no tables around him. There's no displays around him. The nearest display is Jeff's Castle, 6 feet away. So people can walk all the way around the layout and check out the layout from all the sides. I'm going, really? Like that was extraordinary to me that they put that effort into it. Oh, there's a plug in the floor. We can put Dave's layout right here and have people walk all the way around it. I'm going, that moved me that they put this kind of thought. And again, other people at previous conventions also put this kind of thought into it, who have known me for 30 years. They do not neglect me and what they think I want. This is why I love all the friends in the layout, in the community. I've never felt neglected in this community, like literally ever. I've never felt neglected in this community. I know that there's been some misunderstandings, and there's always personality issues because we are a community of geeks, and sometimes geeks do not have the best social graces. But so Eric says, yeah, you just pop that panel and there's a plug. So I pop up the panel and it was underneath the layout, but it was half underneath the one side of the layout. So I actually had Jeff help me move the layout over 6 inches so that the plug was completely underneath the layout, so I don't have an extension cord sticking out. And I plugged it in there. And I'm going, that is the best thing ever. So now I have 360 degrees around the layout. For me, logistics for myself is, again, I'm going to pull this thing out. This landing pad here, okay, is not the best one to display, but the landing pad on the back sits, as we used to say in woodworking, sits proud of the actual tabletop. It actually extends a foot beyond the edge of the table, the actual display. That's the way I built it. And this is why the back of the layout, what I always call the back of the layout, is usually against the wall or usually against other people's tables. So people cannot walk behind it because they would hit the landing pad with their head. so they didn't know that. The organizers, they know I have built this layout to be seen from all sides. And so they thought this would be perfect for me. And I said, that's fantastic. So what I did is I put my little org chart right at the back behind the tower. So people couldn't walk next to the actual table and hit their head on the landing pad because the org chart is right underneath the landing pad. So that fixed it. And yet, because of that, people could walk all the way around the layout. And they did. They absolutely did. That's Eric and Etienne, and I thank you for that, because I've never had that before, where people got to see all sides of my display, and that was literally fantastic. It was so thoughtful. Again, it required a little bit of work on my part. And there was no place for me to sit, but that's not an issue at all, because I didn't actually stand around my little. I actually went and looked at everything else this time. Again, usually previously, 3 of the 4 sides are open for the public, and then I sit behind the tower, so I can talk to people. But I really like this for the first time. Like, people could walk all the way around the layout, and it was wonderful. I have failed to mention my very good and dear friend Nathalie. I'm not good with the French pronunciation. We met at BrickFet long time ago, like probably over a decade ago, and the only time we get to see each other is at one of these conventions. She is a wonderful builder. She is a very good and dear friend of mine. We had some really wonderful chats and talks over the years at shows. The only time I get to see her is at a show, which is fine. But I got to sit down with her again at this show, and We had a really quick conversation. I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff before, but this time, we both had stuff to do. But it was good seeing her again. Every single time I do a show, it's always that she's at. It's always wonderful to have her there. So that's that. I don't think she was part of the organization structure of this show, but she's part of KLUG. So KLUG members, fantastic, all of them, and they all came over. Like literally all of, as far as I know, all the KLUG members came over and they thanked me for being there. You don't have to thank me. I'm thanking you for having a show for me to show up at, that I want to show up at. They were all appreciative. Like all of them were appreciative. And I'm saying, I love shows. I appreciate you for having a show that I can display at. And right now, this was a perfect time for a show for me. There was a few times, I think it was this year, again, everything's a blur. This has been a crazy summer. But there was one time when we did Anime North, and then 2 weeks later, I did another show with the layout. So there was a weekend, Anime North, a blank week, and then another weekend where I'm setting this thing up again. I didn't enjoy that too much. I remember that. So the Anime North is in May, this is in August, and right now Bricks in the Six is in November, which is a perfect 3 months between whatever. So that I was exhausted the second time I set up the layout when it was just 2 weeks apart. I'm going, I don't know. So since we are 26, so this is not half an hour yet. Because there's a lot more people I could talk about, but I forget their names, and I'm so sorry about that. I got to talk to a lot of people. Oh, Mark, Million Prince. We go way back. We have this really brotherly love going on. So Mark Andre, he does Million Prints. So if you want to order your printed bricks, Mark Andre or Jen, whatever floats your boat. We were talking, we catch it up because we just love each other, and we play catch up every time we do a show together. He had this little store there. He went home. He was there Friday. He went home on Friday, and he printed off that USA Today cover page of the Canada stands up to the US, whatever, and he printed out a 2x2 tile, and he gave it to me. With a Canada flag and the 2x4 print, and I immediately went over and put it in the layout with a space guy reading the paper. I love that kind of stuff. I love that kind of synergy because I'm 100%. I anytime I get to do something like that, I'm 100% on board. Like, so I put that print that he just did the night before right into my layout. Other synergies like that, Etienne even said, or even tried, he took a minifig off of Jeff's layout and put it in my layout, and he took a minifig off my layout and put it in Jeff's layout. So it's like a seek and find for us exhibitors. And it took me a while to find the one that he put in my layout. And I'm going, I should be able to see a classic castle guy and to see a space guys, and I didn't find them for a while. So I love that kind of stuff. And again, so I do not take affront. I do not take umbrage with people that I know and love for touching my display. I've never ever had a problem with that. There are fans out there that you can't touch their stuff, and I accept that, and I appreciate that. That's how they want to run their layout. That's perfectly acceptable. Do not touch their stuff. Me, if I know you and I know you're a good friend of mine, and you want to pull a little trick on me like that, as long as you don't break anything, knock yourself out. Just make sure at the end of the show everything goes back normal. But we had a little bit of an issue years ago, and again, I don't want to dwell on this too much because I didn't care. A very good friend of mine that I adore and admire a lot used to put scrolls on layouts, and he would sometimes put the scrolls on layouts where trains would hit them. Because it was fun, and sometimes the trains would derail and break stuff, and so people didn't like that. I never cared. I thought it was fun. He's having fun, I'm having fun, and but I understand the destruction and certain things is not good. I didn't mind the scrolls. He didn't expect the monorail to fall off the track, but it did. So, but I put it back together. There is a scroll in the layout and on behalf of him. There's always going to be a scroll in the layout. And his sig fig is in the layout along with his wife. His sig fig is in the layout permanently because I adore him that much. But anyway, so Marc Andre did that for me, and Million Prints. So that was spectacularly awesome. And Jeff and I always sit with each other, and because we've done this, like he's the one that started the space layout with me back in 2007. And his rocket is still in the layout. So I will always be having huge adoration for my Dutch brother from another mother. I was going to talk about something else really quick, and I can't remember now because I went on more tangent about how wonderful the people are and how many names I forgot already. Oh, what I want to talk about, I forget now. That'll be part 4. So I'll talk to you in part 4.